Alright, let's talk about a derivative. So we define a derivative of a function as f prime of x, and you've seen this definition before. That is simply our definition for the slope of a tangent line. So a derivative is a quick way of saying slope of tangent line. And we know if we're talking about the slope of a tangent line, we're talking about the slope at a single point on the function. That means we're talking about really an instantaneous rate of change as opposed to an average rate of change. So some other terms here: differentiation. This is the term that deals with the process of finding a derivative. And quite often we talk about differentiable functions. It's kind of like continuous functions. But with a differentiable function, this means the derivative exists at all points in its domain. Okay? Let's look at some further notation now. Okay, so notation. We mentioned f prime of x. Alright, that's the most common way of denoting our derivative. Sometimes, if we're talking about y equals as a way of representing our function, then we'll see y prime. Okay, but basically these two go hand in hand. And then we see this dy dx. We don't read it as dy divided by dx. It's read just dy dx. And this is really important. This means we're taking the derivative of whatever is up top with respect to whatever is in the bottom. So in other words, we are acknowledging that whatever is in the denominator is our independent variable. Okay, so let's just jot that down. Okay, so in this case, x is our independent variable. It's what we're taking the derivative of. Okay, and then occasionally you'll see this other notation where you see the y missing up top. You just see a d and then a dx in the bottom. So again, x would still be our independent variable, but in this case, you just see a function written right after it. And sometimes, by the way, that f of x could be in the numerator right next to the d. So I'm talking about an example that may look something like this. Suppose we wanted to find the derivative of x squared. So one way of writing it would be to write it like that. And of course, we know the derivative of x squared is just 2x. Alright, so that's a way of doing it all in one line, rather than saying, okay, if y equals x squared, y prime would be 2x. Okay, so that's some basic notation.